What if I told you that just a few people shaped the destiny of billions? Their actions, discoveries, or ideas didn't just change their own societies, they transformed the entire human story. Let's begin with a man who dared to dream out loud, even when the world around him demanded silence. Martin Luther King Jr., who lived from 1929 to 1968, wasn't just a leader. He was the voice of a movement. In the face of brutal segregation and racism in the United States, he chose nonviolence. Inspired by Gandhi, he used peaceful protest as his weapon. He led the Montgomery bus boycott, one of the first large-scale demonstrations against segregation. His words during the "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963 echoed from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial into the hearts of people across the world. He pushed for civil rights legislation and challenged America to live up to its own ideals of liberty and justice. Awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, King became a global symbol of peaceful resistance. Today, his legacy continues to inspire social justice movements worldwide, from Black Lives Matter to human rights protests in other countries. He didn't just fight for a law, he fought for the soul of a nation. And if you think words alone can't shake the world, wait until you meet the man who looked to the stars and rewrote the universe. Galileo Galilei, born in 1564 and living until 1642, was more than a scientist. He was a revolutionary mind. While the Church insisted that Earth was the center of the cosmos, Galileo peered through his telescope and saw a different reality. He discovered Jupiter's moons, observed the phases of Venus, and proved that heavenly bodies weren't perfect spheres, but scarred and cratered worlds. He dared to say that the Earth moved around the sun, an idea that challenged religious dogma and landed him in deep trouble. The Inquisition forced him to recant, and he spent the rest of his life under house arrest. But his method of combining observation, experimentation, and logic helped lay the foundations of modern science. He didn't just observe the stars, he changed how we think about everything under them. Still, as revolutionary as science is, sometimes the world is transformed by sheer force of will. Julius Caesar, who lived from 100 to 44 BCE, wasn't just a Roman general. He was the man who ended a republic and set the stage for an empire. His conquest of Gaul made him a hero to the people, but a threat to the Senate. When he crossed the Rubicon River with his army, defying Roman law, he triggered a civil war that would decide Rome's future. After seizing power, Caesar named himself dictator for life. Though he was assassinated by senators who feared his rising influence, his death only cleared the path for the rise of the Roman Empire under his adopted heir Augustus. Even his name lived on. Caesar became a title used by emperors and echoed in words like Kaiser and Tsar. He wasn't just a ruler, he redefined political power for centuries to come. But influence doesn't always come from the sword. Sometimes it begins in the classroom. Confucius, who lived from 551 to 479 BCE, never ruled a nation or led an army. Yet his ideas became the cornerstone of Chinese civilization. Born into a period of political chaos, he believed that society could only thrive if it returned to virtue, respect, and order. He taught the importance of ethical relationships between rulers and subjects, parents and children, friends and strangers. Confucius emphasized education, humility, and above all, filial piety, honoring one's family and ancestors. Though he struggled to find high-ranking positions during his lifetime, his followers preserved his teachings, which later became the foundation of civil service exams and government philosophy in East Asia for centuries. His influence can still be seen in modern Chinese culture, Korean traditions, and Japanese ethics. He didn't build a state, but he built the moral code of a civilization. Now, if you think ancient philosophers were powerful, wait until we move to someone whose teachings shaped entire religions. Jesus of Nazareth, born around 4 BCE and crucified around 30 CE, began his ministry with just a handful of followers in Roman-occupied Judea. He preached love, forgiveness, humility, and compassion, teachings that challenged the rigid hierarchies of the time. He healed the sick, comforted the poor, and spoke of a kingdom not of this world. His message was seen as a threat by both religious and political leaders, and he was executed. But his death didn't end the movement, it ignited it. Within a few centuries, his followers had spread across the Roman Empire. Today, over 2 billion people identify as Christian, making it the world's largest religion. Churches, charities, universities, entire nations, his legacy runs through them all. He was a carpenter from a small town, and yet his message changed the world. But Jesus wasn't the only prophet whose teachings reshaped continents. The next figure united a fractured world under one powerful idea. Muhammad, born in 570 CE in Mecca, was a merchant who became a messenger. According to Islamic tradition, he received revelations from God through the angel Gabriel, which were later compiled into the Quran, the holy book of Islam. He preached monotheism, social justice, charity, and the equality of all believers. His teachings challenged the tribal and polytheistic traditions of Mecca, and after years of persecution, he and his followers migrated to Medina. There, Islam grew into both a spiritual and political force. By the time of Muhammad's death in 632, most of the Arabian Peninsula had embraced Islam. Within a century, the Islamic Caliphate stretched from Spain to India, carrying advancements in mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. Today, over 1.8 billion Muslims trace their faith back to Muhammad. He was not only a religious leader, but also a unifier of cultures and civilizations. And speaking of unifiers, one man once ruled the largest land empire the world has ever known. Genghis Khan, born in 1162 on the Mongolian steppes, transformed scattered nomadic tribes into a disciplined and fearsome empire. Under his leadership, the Mongol Empire stretched from Eastern Europe to the Sea of Japan, covering nearly 24 million square kilometers. But Genghis Khan was more than a warrior. He promoted religious tolerance, built trade networks across Asia, and established a system of meritocracy, advancing people based on ability rather than birth. He created the Yam system, a kind of ancient postal network that enabled rapid communication across vast distances. Though his conquests were brutal, they also triggered an era of unprecedented cultural exchange, known as the Pax Mongolica. Silk, gunpowder, paper, and ideas moved more freely than ever before. He didn't just conquer territory, he connected the world. And yet, there's one man whose mind may have shaped modern civilization more than any empire ever could. Isaac Newton, born in 1643, revolutionized our understanding of reality. His work in physics and mathematics laid the foundations for modern science. He formulated the laws of motion, universal gravitation, and co-invented calculus. Before Newton, the universe was mystical and unpredictable. After Newton, it became measurable and explainable. His book, Principia Mathematica, is considered one of the most influential works in scientific history. He didn't just describe the falling apple, he explained the forces that move planets. Even today, engineers, scientists, and astronauts build on the rules Newton defined. He saw farther by standing on the shoulders of giants and became a giant himself. And now we come to the final figure, the one whose theory changed how we understand life itself. Charles Darwin, born in 1809, embarked on a voyage aboard the HMS Beagle that would change biology forever. In 1859, he published On the Origin of Species, proposing the theory of natural selection, that species evolve over time based on survival and reproduction. This idea shattered traditional beliefs about creation and forced the world to reconsider humanity's place in nature. His theory became the bedrock of evolutionary biology, influencing fields from genetics to anthropology. Though controversial in his time, Darwin's work laid the groundwork for modern medicine, psychology, and environmental science. He didn't just describe life, he explained how it adapts, survives, and changes. From ancient prophets to scientific pioneers, from warriors to philosophers, these 10 people shaped our world in ways still felt today. They challenged their times, changed minds, and rewrote history. And their influence, it's still unfolding. Which of these figures do you think had the biggest impact? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into world history.